Hello, everyone. My name is David.
And hello, and my name is Viivika.
And Viivika and I, we are one soul. We are the exact same being. I am her and she is me. In 2018, I was called through many lucid dreams to travel to Africa, to Kenya, to Mount Kenya or Mount Kiranaga. Making that very long story short, I was initiated by the seers of Mount Kenya while I was there, and it was like being struck by lightning 5 or 6 times in just a few seconds, just lightning bolts coming down through my crown.
And exactly the same time when David was initiated in Africa, I had a similar experience. I had a full body Kundalini energy awakening. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I felt this extremely strong energy. And I had also this similar lightning strikes through my body. And after that experience, I started to receive every night different downloads, different transmissions. I saw many different levels of consciousness. And our connection with David started to open up. And it manifested for me like this deep longing. And I started to look for something. I didn't know in this moment what I trying to find, but I started to watch different videos and I did different researches in internet. And one day I saw one of David's interviews with Elizabeth Wood. And in this moment when I saw this video and I heard his voice, my heart recognized his voice because our voice is also our soul signature. So my heart always remembered that. And this is what like love song to my heart. I felt such a deep love that I never felt before. And it opened my heart so deeply. And I started to cry. And I felt such a kind of love before only to our Creator. I had different experiences, different connection with this higher level of consciousness and with source. And I felt this same kind of deep love only when I was connected to Creator. And now I felt the same love that flows through my heart when I heard very first time David's voice. And I went to his course and there I also felt the same really deep heart connection with him. And I realized also that in the same moment when David received his transmissions, what he's shared in his classes, I received the same transmission exactly in the same time. And I shared my experiences. I started to write him and I shared what I felt. And I didn't have any clue. Does he remember anything about this? And you can tell more about that, David.
When she came to one of the courses that I offer occasionally for the first time, no idea who she was. She was just a name on a spreadsheet. When I saw her, just like seeing her now, exactly like seeing her now, I knew that I loved her. And I didn't know what that meant. I knew that I loved her. And after that class ended, I also sat and cried and didn't know what was happening. That course ended. It was a 12-week course. I invited her to come to the next occurrence of it. And even though I didn't really consciously know yet, I knew that my heart could not stand going 3 more months without seeing her at least once a week. My heart just couldn't take it. When she shared with me she was receiving the transmissions at the same moment, then we agreed to do Zoom meetings like this and play with this and kind of experiment it. The more we were in that meeting, the more that we knew how much we loved each other. That's when the awareness that we are one soul finally broke through. We now know that we are one being, absolutely. What she feels, I feel. What I feel, she feels. In the same moment, there's no delay. It's like a perfect kinesthetic or feeling telepathy. The telepathy between us is very strong. And she is a fractal incarnation of Divine Mother that probably leads us into the death experience, which is what brought us in the first place. I have also been initiated many times in Kenya and Mount Kenya. The last time I was there was 2.5 years ago, and I was inducted as the first ever 13th seer. There's always been 12 seers in this society. Definitely the first ever white person. What happened in that induction is that all of the veils that get put around us when we take birth, which are our creation, we're the ones that put the veils there, and we forget who we are. All of those veils were removed, allowing me to have complete and total access multidimensionally again, which is our natural state of being. And I promptly contracted a Delta variety of COVID. In the course of the next 3.5 weeks, what we call death, I died 9 times. And that was actually my 10th. And for me personally, we have it backwards, totally backwards. So for me, there is no such thing as a near-death experience. It doesn't exist because we have it backwards. As human beings, we're so afraid of letting go and dying. We're so afraid of what will happen when I die. We call that actually a death experience. And if we come back, but really and truly, it's a near life experience. It's when we do die, we return to spirit. We return to our natural home. It's not in a physical body. We return back to who we really are and always have been. So you won't hear me talk about NDEs too much, even though I have gone through that process as many times as I do. My understanding of it, when we do cross like that, when we do finally let go, our experience is going to be predicated on the belief systems that we contain inside of ourselves, whatever those are. They may be personal, they may be familial, they may be cultural, they may be religious. That's going to be a filter that determines what our experiences are like. A Christian may be Jesus, or a Christian may be Christ. Somebody that is Muslim may meet Muhammad. There's no predicting what it is. The personal filters that we contain in our consciousness will determine what we experience. And going back into our natural state of being, what happens is when we come back to the body, there is now more space inside of our consciousness that's contained inside the body now. The neural net that is in here. And the neural net is merely the brain and all of the nervous system, but it's connected to the broader consciousness that we are. When we return from those experiences, there's more space inside of our neural net because we have transcended the bounds of what we consider to be the body and physical 3D living, third dimensional living. And that space is emptiness. In that emptiness, something brand new that we've never known before can come in and fill that space. We are forever changed, whatever that is, however that is. And it's truly not necessary to physically die, physically let go, in order to experience that same shift. That's what my divine partner Viivika has done. I'll let you share your story.
I had not exactly the same experience as David, but I had experience that we can maybe also call as we are dying, or our personal self is dying. And I mean by that, first I had this Kundalini energy awakening when most of my personal self also died, and my consciousness expanded so wide, and I had experience of my true self, who I really am. And I had also 0 point experience, as we can call that. So we have in our higher heart the point, the source point, or 0 pointer. And one night I woke up and I felt this immense magnetic pull in my heart center. And I felt like, in this time, I felt like I am in my head. So I felt that everything in my head, what I thought I am, start to just fall into this 0 point into my heart, and my mind just panicked. I felt that I'm really disappearing. There is no me anymore. The moment when this magnetic pull was so strong, I just melted into my heart center, into this 0 point. And this moment when I just disappeared, then I just melted away. I realized that I still I am, and I was everywhere. I was everywhere. I was connected to everything, and this was, I can call also my personal self died in this moment. This is what I thought I am. And this moment, the veils was totally down. There wasn't no veils, and I had this experience of my true self. And the deeper and deeper we go into this fullness, who we really are, the deeper we start to experience this true self. And we don't need to die physically for this experience. And many people describe this near-death experience that they feel this immense love. But this love, what we feel, this is really who we are. And we don't need to die for that physically. We can experience it through this total surrender. So I experience also this immense experience of this love, and I start to remember who I really am.
There are many paths to remembering who we are. There are many paths to remembering who we have always been. We're not the personalities that we walk around and show to the world. God, it takes an immense amount of energy to maintain that consistent projection that surrounds us, that we go out into the world with, that we want people to see us in or perceive us in a certain way. And yet, when you completely let go, which is not always an easy process, this was not an easy process that she went through, yet she did, and she was able to completely clear her heart and restore the original tone of her heart, the original heart tone of our soul, of her and I's soul. Now she's able to speak light without any filters between source and that light coming through, and speaks cleanly and clearly with the transmission that comes to her from the Mother, Divine Mother. She absolutely has the purest heart that I have ever encountered. There's no question about that. I apparently took a more difficult path, and even though while I was in Kenya, I left the body 9 times, people around me perceived that, quote unquote, I was dying. My heart stopped many times. For me, remember, I had just had an induction ceremony that removed all of the veils around me, and I could travel anywhere I wanted. So for me, I was playing. I was hop, skipping, and jumping through the universe. I can go here, I can go there. And every time I went someplace, the body stopped working. If you want to stay here, if you want to continue to be in form, you need this body. You need the body that you're in. And yet the remembering, once you're fully back into the body, the remembering is phenomenal. The remembrance of who we really are. If you watched her closely, or if you review that again in just a little while, if you watched her closely while she was speaking of her journey, she started to fade out. She started to literally disappear and then come back. And that's not a visual effect. There's no light changing in the room that she's in. She's been doing this now for almost a week. She just fades into light and dissolves and then comes back into the body. That's the equivalent to a near-death experience only. I don't like that term anymore. It's the equivalent to a near-life experience, to remembering fully who she is. And the more she does that, the more she dissolves like that. And hope is not really inaccurate. I'm looking forward to her sharing with me the resonance frequencies that she has so that I can do this with her together. That's the large part of the story of us in terms of the journeys that each one of us has gone on. The even bigger story is the remembrance between us, between her and I, of who we are and why we're here. And it is not without its challenges. She lives in Spain. I live in Northern California in Mount Shasta. And there is no distance. There is no space between the two of us. None at all. As I mentioned, what she feels, I feel. What I feel, she feels. Instantly. Not with a delay, in the same moment, in the exact same moment she feels. We are, as a single soul, a funnel, if you will, for divine love to flow through, but not flow through separately from us. It flows through us as us, because it's who we are. The only word that I have to describe what that love is grace. And it flows through us every moment. When we're together, like we are now, even though she's in Spain, I can feel her so deeply that she's sitting right next to me. Or you could reverse it, that I'm sitting right next to her, because we are together. Whenever we are together, it's a field that is created around us, and that field of energy is divine love. It is grace. It's not about me. It's not even about us. It's who we are as a soul. It flows through us as us. It happens in every single class that we share together, because we are now doing all of the classes that are offered. We're doing them together. Speaking like this is my transmission. This is how the transmission comes through me. It is carried on my voice through the words that come through. It's not the words, the energy that comes through that create the words. And she brings that same transmission, the exact same moment, only she brings it in light. There are many people that have come to my classes over the years that have not understood or connected with a single word that I've ever said. The first time that they came to a class and she spoke light, they immediately told me, well, now I understand, because they understood the light language that she was speaking. This is the bigger picture of who you were and I. And it is a love that is so big that it's almost unfat how large it is. And at the same time, each and every one of us watching this video, you are that same love. You are this love. It's who you are. It's who you've always been.
We can say that everybody of us can love ourselves back to unity, to this deep connection with everything we are, to this deep connection with source and all the creation, and with part of all creation. And we're not just connecting with this field. We become this field. And like David said, everybody feeling that reflection, that field, or I can describe that we are like divine mirrors to each other. Everyone is like divine mirror. And in these classes, we are also with David divine mirrors. So you can just feel this image of divine perfection, who you truly are. You are this love. You are source.
You are this love. And remember, above all, this is not about us. We have our lives. We still have some personality and some quirks. Underneath it all, my expression is we're just like everybody else. Yes, we're a little bit different. We're one soul. Not everybody is one soul. There's nothing about us that is different from you. We are all one being. We are all a unique fractal projection of source, of God, of our creator. We are all connected to each other. No place in creation is better than any other place in creation. That's why I usually just say we're just folks. You can't even say that we're humble, because it's something and it's not relevant. Each of us is the magnificence that we are, and yet that magnificence is not anything special. Every one of us is magnificent, and we look forward so much to joining with you this vast playground we call creation. Thank you for letting us be with you.
Thank you so much. Love and blessings, dear soul.
Many, 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 many blessings.